Hi everybody. Hi everybody. We're back again on Hutchins Hut Productions. So what are we doing? We're reading some updates on comicbook.com, a division of Paramount and CBS. Yeah, okay. We're talking about Marvel now. Now since we just finished up an episode talking about Superman. So now in our next episode here on Productions. Okay. Marvel's Disney Plus series is now coming next month. It now continues a very surprising Marvel trend. Okay, the next Marvel TV show is coming more sooner than you expect. Mostly because when they continue a trend, they most oftentimes are unlikely, though, because it's unlikely again for the Disney-owned MCU. There's very much a slowdown on content production because Bob Iger is like saying, "Oh, we need to cut down on our expenses on Marvel. We need to cut down our expenses on Marvel." But ultimately, he doesn't realize that he's got his pants on too big for his britches, and yet people still would want to have some good quality content. Keyword being quality. Again, make no mistake when there's no mistake to be made, but quite honestly, he is the one that is kind of upsetting the universe. I hate to say it, Mr. Bob Iger, but you suck. You suck. You suck. Me and all my followers and my gang up here and my squad here at Hutchinson, we think you suck. We think you suck. Because you suck. There was a slight slowdown. Yeah, we just said that. Again, however, that's because of the controversial asshole douchebag named Mr. Bob Iger. I'm looking at you, Mr. Bob. You're an asshole. So, again, how it might not necessarily feel like that for subscribers, 2025 has already brought us a couple TV shows. The Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which I was originally against, that I gave it a try. I'm like, mid. Daredevil Born Again. Okay, I gave that a try and sucks. I'm sorry, bro. It sucked. Ironheart, again. I had a whole series on that. It sucked. And recently, just like a few days ago, I did Eyes of Wakanda. And if you want to know more about your history on Africa, yeah, sure. Then watch Eye of Wakanda. But anyway, that was whatever. If you're kind of like a history buff like me, Eye of Wakanda is your bet. But the rest of it just sucks. Okay? It's expected that the next show after this is Wonder Man. But Wonder Man, again, is a character from the 1980s roster of the Avengers, who oftentimes was a member on the West Coast Avengers and was a separate love interest from Scarlet Witch, the one I call Scarlet Bitch, played by Elizabeth Olsen. And yeah, she's going to be having a huge role in the next movies that are ahead. And it'll close out the year in the release, but before that, we have our friend Marvel Zombies. Now, Marvel Zombies is basically a series that happened in the late 2000s. But it's like, oh yeah, we're going to have all the superheroes, but they're going to turn into zombies. Okay, this is an animated spin-off of an episode of the same name from the show we saw, Marvel What If. Marvel What If. It's basically, what if this happened? What if this happened? What if this happened? But to be honest, they could have went forward with that, but they don't because they're Disney and they're Marvel and they want to do other stuff. So I don't blame them. But I'm still very disappointed in that. So, following the Survivor characters, we face off against villains and former heroes who have fallen to grace and became zombies due to some life-changing, life-altering virus. It'll be another way to release a notable content which will carry a TV mature audience rating, becoming the third MCU TV show to do that. Okay, next to, Daredevil and uh, like Echo or I don't know, whatever. But this show is mature and again, it's Disney Plus. Again, this started with Echo and then we had Daredevil Born Again and then we had Deadpool and Wolverine, which again is awesome movie. I love Deadpool and Wolverine. My brother brags about that all the time. And so yeah, anyway, we are trying to aim it for kids and adults. But the problem is, now by diversifying the content, now we are having Marvel Zombies come out next month. Highlights again say that Better Than Anything Yet Did Not. Not only is this the third really mature show to ever carry the mantle of a mature rating, this is the first animated series to conquer that. So a medium oftentimes thought as to be more child friendly. And it's not child friendly though. It's not. I'm just telling you. You can suck my proverbial dick and say, yeah, it's child friendly. No, it's not child friendly. Suck on a lollipop, suck on a dum dum, suck on a Tootsie Roll pop. But don't be crying to me when you say, hey, you scared my kid. Hey, just give him nightmares. Oh, yeah, shut up. I told you. So, you ignored me. That itself, however, is something of a Marvel trend. Albeit the fact that there's also been other shows on Hulu, Modoc and Hit Monkey, both also TV mature audiences shows. And, spoiler alert, they both fucking suck. Trust me, I am a professional with the field. They suck. Therefore, the clear point of Multiverse and Disney Plus, it feels like it's even a bigger deal. In the same time, though, however, the rating is not that surprising, considering its mature audience. Well, anything said the Not Zombies is a title that promises violence and blood. It seems like this will deliver that, and lots of it. Blood is being splattered everywhere. Getting the balance of a more mature content for characters is right in the line for Marvel because they're trying to be different. The upcoming Daredevil Born Again will also have a second season next year. Also, this will also be TV mature audience, and there's presumably going to be a special presentation with the Punisher. Yeah, the Punisher. Uh, John Bernthal. Yeah, John Bernthal. Both of those continue in the form in the Netflix Marvel era, or should we say the Netflix Marvel generation, where those shows are already delivering more violent blood scenes anyway. However, the Punisher will also appear in Spider Man The Brand New Day. However, we can safely assume that won't be rated R because they gotta water him down. So, with those and other things in Marvel Zombie, though, it's great to see Marvel and Disney are not afraid to take a risk when it comes to, bringing on adult content. There are other projects that would benefit that as well. If we ever see the Blade happen, I don't know. We've been talking about how there's going to be that Blade movie, but that's been sitting on the back burner for like ever until like I'm pretty sure it's burnt at this point. Bring back Jessica Jones. That could be cool too. I don't know, especially because she's one of the defenders, the heroes for hire, from the Netflix series. So yeah, she'll be also in her own series after season 2 of Daredevil Born Again. There's more hope after all. So, Marvel Zombies again will be released on an earlier time on September the 24th. Yes, I just realized this like a couple days ago. They said, "Oh yeah, Marvel Zombies will hit Disney Plus on September the 24th," which is perfect because it's not too it's not too close to Halloween, but it's still close enough. Um, so let me know your thoughts, comments, concerns. I'll see you later.